All right, welcome to this session. We have a very good book here that I would recommend really for HTML among many books that we have encountered for sure. But among this book, quite a number of things we have done, hand titles, that is something that we have done. And we will be heading directly to what we call the titles. Not the titles, but the tables actually. This is where we will get to know more about the tables and how to form the tables and how actually to play around with the tables. And that is actually what I'm looking for in this document or in this book, probably as we start. So we have already done the formatting and everything. We have as well done the linking and all that is involved within the linking. And we have also done the image insertion, as well as we have done the basic structure of what we call the HTML script. So I'll be going directly to page 57, which contains the basic tables. You might really ask, how do people manage to achieve creating tables within their local websites? How do someone manage to build a table? And actually, what is that is really engaged or involved in the process of building a table? And this, of course, becomes the answer. I hope you can hear me well, friends. Can you?
I couldn't hear your voice at least.
Oh, but
I don't know.
now it's clear, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So the big question is actually, how can I insert table, and how can I create borders, and how can I create table headers? And that is a good question for someone who is doing programming. And the answer, of course, is with us, that you can easily create tables when you use the format that has been brought to us here, which is actually using the table tag. The table tag is a very good tag when you are actually doing the tables and actually categorizing, as well as really doing a lot of formats within the tables. And actually that will definitely define a very good table for you. Now, because we have table formats in such a manner, so we have the opening, of course, brace or the tag of the table, as you can see it here, the table opening. And actually this is what definitely makes a table when we come to the HTML. And actually this is the building structure of a table. So the table tag is what defines a table. So the table tag is contained within the body sections, and it is decided, of course, by the opening tag and the closing tag of the table. So we go ahead and have the TR. So TR is actually what it is, a simple name for what we call the table row, the table row. So if you want to design a table row, then you will use what we call the TR. Friends, if you want to design a table row, then you will use what we call the TR tag. So the TR tag must be used within the table. So the table tag appears at first because you want to create a table. And then we have the next which appears is TR, which is table row, which appears within the big table tag. And then we have the TR, which appears within it. And this, of course, defines the table row. And the TD, which is actually the table data or the cell content, and defines what will be placed within those rows that have been created. So definitely That is what is involved within creation of a table. That is what is involved within the creation of a table. So the normal tags that are actually involved in this process is the major table. The major table could be someone who wants to join, or it's actually Gilbert who has joined again. Gilbert, I think you can as well tell the friends of the group we have already started, so that they will be around, please. Yeah, yeah. So that we do not waste a lot of time. You can just text on the group that we have
Yeah.
already started.
All right.
So I was actually talking about the table role, and the table columns and everything that is involved within this entire structure. So look here, we have the table tag, we have which of course encompasses many tags within the entire section of the table. Now, when we have the associated tags, for example, the first associated tag is actually which defines the table rows. That is what we have said in the former content. Now, we also have what will defines the data, what will be inputted within the cells of the table. And then we have, of course, this example. We have a table formed at the top, and then after the formation of the table, then we have the table row. So what is contained within the table row is what we have as the table data red, table data again black, table data again blue. So then next we have another table row. So what is contained is a table data green, table data gold, and table data silver. So then we close the table. And actually what appears is actually what you can see here. It appears as you can see it in the result bar. That is red, black, blue, green, gold, and silver. So that is what appears, but this data will not be partitioned. So we will go ahead and see, after now we have created this data, how can we code enough partition it? Because what we have created is a table. Yes, we have a table. We have rows, and within those rows we have also given data that is assigned within those rows. So actually the data is arranged in rows. For example, the first one has red, the next one is black, the next one is blue. So it is arranged actually in form of rows. So the second row actually contains three elements or three characters: green, the three names, that is green, gold, and silver. And that is how we form a table. But this table does not have the partitions. It does not have the table cells, so that if somebody would likely to see that table, he can truly say this is a table. Currently, somebody will not particularly say this is a table because the alignment of the characters within the table does not satisfy the condition of the table. Simply, what we can really identify is as a table, it's because of how the characters, the first characters, and actually the top and the bottom line, they are actually arranged. You can see between the first and second one and third one in either of the tables or in either of the rows, they are actually aligned very well and straight. So what we are left with is actually to have what we call the table borders, and that is where we come and ask ourselves, how can we create a table border? How do we create a table border? That is a question that we are asking ourselves. Now, a table border is easily created. Yeah, it is easily created because we have what we call the border. Sometimes we have the border attributes, which of course defines that how should the border appear like. For example, we have created a table. We have had a start tag, which is table. Then the end tag, of course, should be the table because every content should be within the table. Then associated tags is actually tags which are used within the table tag. Now, the first one is the table role. The table role, of course, which defines the role of the table. Then we have the table data, which of course says the data that will be inputted within the table. So now we have something we call the attribute. Now the attribute is actually coming here to tell us that what characteristics, for example, to put onto a tag or an element. And at this particular point, we have attribute like bonder. Which bonder that should be placed on this table. The border, it means that how should width or what is the width of that bonder, or how concentrated that bonder is. It defines how margins should be. The separating margins, the forming margins of the table, how should they be? Because actually we have said that I'm actually here in the example, friends. I'm here in the example. This section, that is where I am. So, number one, we have formed a table, and then we have said the border is 6 pixels. That means it should be thick. Then the border color should be black. Actually, this is the code of color black. If you go online, you'll realize that colors are identified by unique code. For example, if you want to identify color white, it is ash and then F, 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 or ash, F, 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 F. 6 Fs or 3 Fs can identify a white color, pure white color. If you want to add some patches of maybe blue or something, then you realize, or black, there's some zeros which will appear within those F, 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 and actually you will have blended that color. So that is actually the unique identifier of the color. And that is how we pass this attribute. The attribute, for example, the border is an attribute which is assigned 6 pixels. It really specifies that yes, we have created a table, but which border should we assign this table? Yes, we have created a table, but what border color should we assign this table? Up to there, we are okay, friends? All right. And now, after we have created the table, then we have what we call the table role, which contains table data like red, black, and blue. And then we have another one called table data, which is assigned in green, gold, and silver. And then we close the table row, and then also we close the table. And by the way, you will realize that we have already formed a partition. It actually creates a table with 6 pixel thick border. 6 pixel thick border. And actually, because we said we introduced the border attribute within the formation of the table, then everything receives a border. Receives a border. Now it's not a blank thing, but it's something that has a border as well. I don't know. Now, not because I might not be in a position to copy for you what is here, you will have to type it, by the way, yourself. You'll really have to type it yourself. You know, this is a PDF, and a PDF normally you might not be in a position to copy. Okay, I just want us to take a short time and then try to create such, but allow me to proceed with the content. Up to there, is any question, or we are fully satisfied? Alright, allow me to proceed with the content, and then we will come to the implementation after learning something which we call the basic tables. After learning something we call the basic table. You'll allow me to actually have that one quickly. So the basic tables, we have, of course, the table headers. that is what appears at the top of the table. That is actually what appears at the top of the table. For example, we have this actually what has been offered in these paragraphs is the explanations that I'm giving you. So don't worry about that one. So for example, we have a table and then we have a border which says that it is 2. 2 represent, of course, 2 pixels. That is why you can see that, of course, the table that will appear at the bottom will be a bit lighter than the one that was formed at the first instance. So we have the border which is assigned to 2. Then we have the border color. Of course, that is black. That is black. But you can try to play around. Try to make it white. Try to make it to get any other color pigmentation and content actually. Try to paste it there. So we have said that this is a table border. Welcome, Pork. How are you?
Thank you, sir. I'm good.
Yeah. I hope you will catch up on the way. This is the first time you are so late.
Yeah, I face a very, very big internet issue today. Even
Oh,
our
sorry.
MTN is not working. I need to ask Gilbert why. And internet also in the office is not working. Very big issue. Sorry.
It's okay.
Pork, my friend. M10 is off, or you cannot reach the DNS.
MTN is on and off. On and off. It is not stable.
It's all right. It's all right. Good now that you have managed.
Yeah, now I've tried Zen just now.
All right. So,
Mm.
by the way, we have said that we have the major tag, which is called the table tag, which is used for the creation of the table. And that is actually the very first tag when you want to create tables. So, for example, we have created table. We have a table tag at the top. Now, these are attributes which are assigned to these table tags. These are characteristics that in the formation of this table, make sure that border is 2 pixels thick. Then the border color, make sure that it is black. Those are characteristics that are assigned that in the process of making this table, these are the requirements that I give you. Then what follows next is the table head. Now get this one clear. What follows next is the table head. And in this case, the table head is available colors. So the table head is what actually appears at the top of the table. So we form now the table row. The table row which says it is rent. And the table row, of course, when we form the table row, it means they are the rows running across the table. They are the rows which are actually running across the table. And now because we are forming the table rows, so the first row contains rent, and the second, the table row, of course, is that which runs across. Now the table data which will be placed to those, and by the way, remember that it is the table data which influences to know where the partition should be done. So for example, the first one has red, black, and blue. That says that the partition should be done thrice. Yeah, should be done thrice. And the other one has green, gold, and silver. Still, the partition has to be done thrice because of the influence of the first row. So you'll realize that is actually what happens. And then we have the table row closed, and then we have the table, the entirely table closed at that particular point. So allow me to say that we take some time and then we implement what I've presented here. In this case example, now use your own figures, and then probably the one will manage it quickly. Then you can as well present on our meeting. Let's take around 3 to 4 minutes, and then I know we'll be done. Thank you.
Sir, I won't be able to do anything because I just log in using my phone. I've not yet
because of
made
the
connection
internet
to my
issue?
PC. Mm. Yeah, sure.
No problem. I think the one who will manage to present, you will see. You can try to read between the lines.
Okay.
Sir.
Yeah, yes, please.
So let me share the screen first. So I think the header actually missed the it messed up the table. So for example, if I take out the header, now it's like that. Can you see, sir?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so let me help.
I cannot see. Or the table is formed, but the handle doesn't appear.
So let me add the header. So after I add the header, okay. Okay. Can you see, sir?
All right. It enhances the handle, right? It enhances the handle, I can see.
Yes. Can we show the code to Mr. Walk?
Mr.
Okay.
Pork can see, right?
Let me show you.
Yes, I can see.
So in here, yes, so Mr. Walk, have you seen the results? This is the code. So you start with the table, you add the borders,
It's coming.
then you close the table. Yes.
Maybe you can push to the other side. I can majorly see the how do you the folder where the folder is.
Border. This is the border. And
No,
so this is the border.
Okay.
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 You mentioned, yes. So for example, let us play around with the border. Let's just make it 2 instead of 6, so you can see the thickness now. Okay, let me show you. Okay, so I believe the thickness changed, isn't it? So previously it was 6, and the thickness was a bit heavy. Let me try to. Sir,
Yes,
if
yes.
I want to make the, if I want to increase the size of the entire table, what should I be doing? Maybe I should
Let me
just.
say that is actually what I wanted to send to you guys. I want to send actually a code that you will run as well, and try to tell us what has really happened and what has really changed from what you can see. Okay, let me send it to our group. I've just sent it to our group, but maybe take it from there, try to run it, and then try to understand. And let everybody try to understand it, because what we have said is the table data and everything, we have actually done that one, where the TB represent the table body, or the table body, of course, entirely. You can write it entirely. All right. Let me see from your end. Okay, that is
Can you
actually
see?
what appears, huh?
Yes. So
And
let
by
us
the
check.
way, it's actually, what do you think changes it to make it actually apply across? What do you think?
Okay, so at first I can see that there are 3 headers. We have 4 rows, and the scale changed. The size of the table is stretched, and also each header has its own content now. So let me try to switch to the code.
Okay, sure, but what
Yes.
has really impacted is what we call the styling, eh? And styling is
Yes.
what we have in the CSS. In the CSS is where we have the entire styling. So I believe all of us in our account that I sent, that we have a style. We have the title of the page is a simple table. Then we have the style, like for example, written table. Then we have the width to be 100. So the table, we are actually saying that in the style that the table should be 100%, that it should occupy then the width of the device. And then we say that the border collapse is of course that of course the border should not collapse. It should be actually, it should be visible. And then we have style applied to that one, where we will learn much about how do you apply CSS styles. How do you apply CSS styles to different elements? So don't worry, these ones we will come to read them, but I think you have a clue of what we are going to read now. But generally, that is actually what happens. So we have the section body, and you can see that we have the H2, and then we enter into the body. It's actually how you format it, and that is how beautiful it becomes at the end of the day. So the resizing and everything appears in the CSS. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah, Gilbert, are we together?
Yeah, we are together. Should I share mine?
Please do.
Okay. Yeah, it is Chief.
All right, very good. Now, good.
Then the output is here.
All right.
Yeah, it is.
Why actually? Oh, it is in the table format. Is there a row, some borders for the table as well?
You said what?
Some borders for the table,
Yeah, it has borders.
or it has borders, eh?
Yeah, but it's not board.
Or yeah, maybe they are small. I can see them from afar. Yeah, sure, maybe that is the case.
Okay.
Yeah, but to say it, uh, what actually happens is that just a minute. Okay, what happens is that the moment you create a table and define what we call table hand, table data, and table row, then of course it automatically partitions itself. Yeah, it automatically partitions itself. So you might define some leaving the other, and you might realize that we will not achieve those partitions, and that is it. And that is actually what we do in the creation of the tables. Um, let me resume my presentation. Let me resume my presentation as you can see it. So the next bit is actually we have some assignment here. We have something we call the iframes. Now, what are the iframes? An iframe is defined as an inline frame or a separate HTML document that is embedded into your HTML document. So the most common usage of the iframe is to insert content from another page, such as a video or an advertisement. So an iframe, it is simply embedding some other content into your website. For example, they say that you have an iframe. It is actually defined by the iframe tag. And then we have, of course, when you open the iframe tag, you must close it at the bottom when you are done with the iframe. So the attribute which specifically states where the content will be picked from is what we are calling the SRC. So for example, in our SRC, it goes to a website called teachucomp.com. So that is where it is leading. So what does it do? It places the website link into your web page. It places your the other website link into your web page as well. So how do you probably set the height and everything, or set the height and the width of an iframe? So in the definition of the iframe, after you have defined, you can say that the height should be 300, the width should be 100, before actually you close it. Now this one, it is defined after the attribute SRC. So that is where you set, and actually this one is displayed in form of the pixels, in form of the pixels. So the other one, using an iframe for a link target. Yes, am I too fast?
It's fine. It's fine. It's just that if we are entering a new, we can display like the iframes.
Yeah, sure. I wanted we display everything after explaining quite a substantive content, then we will display. Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah. It's
I,
okay.
I
Let's
still
continue. Yeah.
I still buy the idea of feeding an hungry man.
Okay. Let's continue.
All right. So when you are using an iframe for a link target, so you must actually indicate the target. You can set a link on your page to open inside an iframe. Okay, you can set a link so that links open on your same website. So that we can do that one, we must have the name attribute. That is, the target name must have the same value. The target and the name must have the same value. For example, we have an iframe name, which is actually iframe 1. Then we have the paragraph A. Then we have, of course, when we send actually in the previous class, we use tag a tag as actually which helps us to get a link for some website somewhere. And then we have the href, which defines which is that, of course, website. When we click this name which has been defined here, that is tech ucop inc, and actually that is what happened. So in such a case, how do we manage that one so that it can display on our same web page? Now let's see this one. Let's of course start by implementing the basic of the iframe. Still probably in the concept of the tables, no problem. Just try to display this first iframe and having set different heights and width. So Mr. Hammond, you can set yours as 300 and 100. Then Mr. Gilbert, you can set yours to be 400 or 500 and 300. Yeah. That is actually the implementation of this example. Let me see.
Sir.
Yes. Okay, you have displayed
So
an iframe. Eh? You have displayed an iframe. Let me see your con.
sir, can you see?
Mm-hmm. I can't see. You are actually presenting, but I'm not managing to see. All right, I can see. I can see. Good.
I can't see.
I can see now. I can see. Oh, I was actually talking while my mic was muted. Sorry. I can now see. I can now see. So actually, it displays an iframe of that is actually it's like a partition. It's like a table that, of course, you will embed some content from other side, a book or a website, and that will be embedded within your website. You see. So when you are referencing to,
I didn't see. Excuse me. I didn't see the output. Can Hamid display again the output?
yeah, please Ahmed, display the output again.
Yes. I have an internet break. Okay, sir. So I will let's book.
Yeah, I want to see the output.
Okay, so it's loading actually. I'm also facing a small connection problem. It's actually loading. It's going to display.
It's okay. It's okay.
So I think correct way, isn't it? We have the website, the entire website in this small frame.
For sure, we can.
Yes.
Let me send you a code. Hello.
Okay.
Let
Yes,
me.
I can hear you, sir.
Oh, Pook, you have actually seen how it works, eh?
I can see like. Is it the video?
It's a website frame that shows you the entire website.
Actually, I've sent some other code which now completely okay. What does an iframe do, Mr.
It has
Gilbert?
a scroll bar, right?
Mr. Gilbert, you are allowed, eh? I've sent another one which helps you to embed our website on that
Yes,
iframe. In
I've done it.
simple, an iframe helps you to embed some content, some external content. Example, I can embed and reference your website in my website using the iframe, and I define that iframe should be this size and actually the link to what I need to be embedded. You see?
So which one is the iframe in this website?
So the iframe is actually the frame. In simple, it is actually the frame. As the name indicates, it is the frame where within that
Okay,
frame
okay.
we have that reference to website inserted within it.
Oh, I see. It's clear now.
Sure, sure. I don't know, Mr. Gilbert left.
Content in it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that is actually interesting content. Are you there, Mr. Pook? You have actually gotten even out of the one that I have managed to send on our group. Eh? Yeah, probably you have managed to check on them. All right. Allow me to move on. Am I allowed?
You can continue, sir. You can continue. This understood.
All right. Mm. So I'm going directly to the content of forms. Forms, eh? And the question is, how do we create a form? And what does form mean? And I believe this is a huge content where we will take quite some time because at this level we are really progressing well, because before the end of this week we will be able to know even how to insert videos and audios before we go to what we call the cascading style sheets. And now we want to learn form and form actions, by the way, and also teach you how to reference different materials and link different pages. Okay. Form are paramount, especially when you are making your own site, and forms are very essential. You have seen, for example, in the contact page of a certain website, a certain company, we have a form. Actually, in the making of our school website, you'll realize that we have a registration form embedded within the site. We have three forms. That is number one, the registration form, the confirmation form, and the contact form. So how do we really come up with such forms and embed them within such websites? It is actually in simple. These forms are created by simple tags, of course, which we will mention here, and get to know how to create a full form right away. So in simple, forms, they are used to collect information from a website, and they are formed by what we call the form tag. In simple, it is actually the form which well, it is within the form tags, the opening and the closing of the form tags, where everything is contained. And within the entire form tags, we can have such examples, and within such tags we have a lot of implementation of the form details, which we will come to see. So most of the forms, they are processed using what we call the Common Gateways Interface, which is written in languages such as Java, but for our case, we might use JavaScript and run on a web server, or Python in our case because it's our backend language. So most web servers can accommodate processing of the script, but you should check first if your web host make sure a certain such decisions. So in addition, you will find, and you will want to find out the location of course processing of those gateways, but these ones are the internal linked elements which are done when you are creating your form. So you need actually a very good linking between your form and actually your server. Your server is when you are creating the backend. But don't worry, this one will be taken care of. But what you need to know is something. I'm in class. I will call you after the class. Thank you so much. Okay. So, can you hear me, friends? Can you?
I can hear you.
All right, all right. So, I was actually saying that to begin with, in actually the communication between the form, for example, you fill in the detail that I am Mr. Puok, my nationality is South Sudan, and actually my nationality being in South Sudan, uh, 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 Konik eka kwa loka ya nitachukua. So my nationality, for example, is in South Sudan, and I am this years old, and you submit such form. And what happens in the process of such submission, after you have done such submission, then you will realize that that detail gets into our hand. How does it get into our hand? Yes, you have just posted. It is out of the interaction between the methods that you have placed in the form with the server information that is on our side. You get it? So that is actually the communication that we want to enact, but more we will enact when we get into the backend. So for example, the method, the post, and the ID will be used as the key unique identifiers of the same. So how do we start a tag? The tag form is where we start, and then we have the end where we say that end tag, which is actually the form with the backslash. The attribute which we use, it is, for example, method, post, and action. We will get to know what this means. So, for example, the form method post, which says actually that this one should be posted, and actually there's a lot which is involved in a form. So I just want to elaborate it all because there's name, action, post, and actually the ID. So there is a lot which is involved with the forms, and that is what I want to explain. For example, if you are sending to email, an example is given here. If your web server does not support what we call GCI, GCI is what we have just described here to be Common Gateway Interface. Common Gateway Interface, it is how your forms communicate with the server. It is how that information that you have found on the form is actually translated and gotten by the client or by the admin. For example, somebody fills a form in our website, and then on the server side, we get it even through our email. So how does that happen? If your web server does not support, of course, what we call Common Gateway Interface, the interface is actually what is interfacing the side of the front end with the side of the back end. I hope up to there we are on the same page. I don't want to lose anybody on the way. I hope so. All right, all right, all right. Now, continuing with this content is that if your web server, I think someone who wants to join our meeting. Oh, this is Poke. Poke, you want to join with another account?
Yeah, I am joining. I'm now connected to my computer.
All right, good, 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 good. Now, I think you've reached home. That could be.
Sure, sure.
Take some porridge. Take some porridge. Do you do porridge in South Sudan?
Yes, we do forage,
Oh, you do
but not in
porridge.
the evening.
Oh, interesting, interesting. I love porridge. I love porridge. There's actually the local one. We call it the kienyeji porridge. Anyway, I know we will share more about this one. Nice,
Okay, okay.
nice, nice. Uh, so we are sending, we are assuming that, for example, we are sending our forms to email. We are collecting them at the email point. So if you, okay, you can of course send form data directly to the email address. But they say it's not a good solution if you are capturing sensitive data. Yeah, it is not a secure form of transmission. But how do you capture such? They say we have, of course, the form. Then we say we have the method poster. Posted means that once you have clicked post, of course, it should directly interlink with the server. That is actually what it means. And then and type, of course, text plain. That is to tell that it is a text. Uh, then now when we come to the real example, we have form method post, and then we have end type text plain, and then the action should go to the mail of this, of course, your email. That means you can directly connect these forms to your email. But they say it's not a secure means because that one can be hijacked on the way. The best, of course, it is to link with the backend, the server side, and then it links with the database. Then from the database, your Gmail can be referenced from the database to pick it from there. It becomes more secure in such a way using what we call common gateway interface, such that we have a common protected gateway where such information pass through. So in simple, we are saying that forms includes quite substantive element and attributes. Yeah, we say we have quite a number of form attributes. Yeah, form attributes, and actually there are different uses. Now let me check on this book. If probably it has not captured all of them, then I will be able to elaborate some of them even at a personal level. Okay, let me just see. All right. There is something which has not been captured, which I will just handle now. Don't worry. So, friends, there is something we call the form action. Number one, what is the form action? Let me just explain what is the form action. The form action, of course, you define the form tag. So in that form tag, you state the action, the name, the ID. It has quite a lot of content, which some you can ignore. And you can ignore entirely if it's for a practical case. You do not require that form to be submitted anywhere. But it's good to know this one because our development is actually projected to somewhere where we will be having the server side receiving such request and actually actualizing on such request. What is this request and what am I going to do with such a request? Now look here. The first attribute is what we call the form action. The form action, it specifies the URL where the form data will be sent when the form will be submitted. For example, if you want the form to be sent to your personal email, then the action should be assigned to your email. If you want your form to be submitted to the server side, then the actual reference or what should be entitled to the action, it should be the link to your server side. And actually, that is what happens with the form and action. So the action attribute tells the browser where to send data for processing. The action, that is the action which is in this case it's like a variable which holds where the form will be submitted. That is actually for processing or for submission. No problem. And you can, on the server side, you will have another module which will be receiving these actions. So you can reference to that one. No problem. We will see how to go about that one, especially when we get to our React classes. That is for the frameworks. Now know that the action contains where the form will land. That is it. So the method, what is the method? The method specifies the HTTP method. For example, we can have the get or post. So the browser uses to send the form data to the server. For example, get data is appended on the URL visible in the browser's address bar. So this is actually get is where you want, as the form is being sent, it can be easily gotten. That is get as the method specifies the method that the browser uses to send the form data to the server. So for the get, it is used for the less sensitive data because it will be visible in the browser bar. It will be visible. It's something which is appended directly to the URL. It is data which is something which is universal, might not require to be hidden. So as in the process of sending it, it is visible on your side and visible on the other side. But the post, the data is sent hidden actually. It is sent hidden in huge amount, and for you to get that data, you can even produce the encryption key. It doesn't get on you and then you can access directly openly. It can be even protected, and the data must be, of course, be opened in some way. That is actually, it is not view or ended. Sometimes it can come even with a privilege that this data can only be viewed but cannot be edited. So this post comes with how the data is transmitted and how the data is viewed, and that is actually what we say that is a more sensitive way to send sensitive and large amount of data. Now there's something we call the name. There is something we call the name, which was not mentioned, and I said that I will add it so that we can understand it more keenly. So what is this that we are calling the name? Name provides a name for the form. It provides what is the name of this form. This can be used as a reference when the form is in, or for example, when you want to embed or to set it to the JavaScript, or for example in building, because we'll use also the JavaScript. When you want to reference the form, what will you use? It is the name of the form. often it is used in JavaScript to target or manipulate the form. So that I can manipulate a certain form, then I will access it using what? Using the JavaScript. So that JavaScript, I will say that I want to access this form by this name. You get it? Yeah, up to there we are okay? All right. So you want to access this form with this name. So the name is assigned to the name of the form, which will be used as a reference key later. So the ID now, it is a unique identifier. Let me ask you, Hammond, Mr. Hammond,
Yes, sir.
is Hammond a unique identifier?
Yes.
Aha. Mr. Puok,
Yes, sir.
is the name Puok a unique identifier?
The unique identifier, I think, is should be the primary key. When I don't know, but if you mean the ID should be different from the name.
Or that means the name is not a unique identifier.
Mm.
Because there could be somebody called Puok
Yeah.
and there could be somebody called Hammond. So we can really say that yes, name is an identifier, but it's not a unique identifier. But when we come to the ID, like for example, your identity card number, yeah? For example, your phone number. For example, your fingerprint. These are the things that you own and nobody else owns such a thing in the whole world. So it becomes a unique identifier. So similarly, when we are doing our front end and when we are building our forms contains what we call the ID. The ID is the unique reference which can be used in JavaScript or CSS, of course, for styling when accessing the form. So you can use either for name, you can use the name or you can use the ID, but name can be shared, but ID cannot be shared. ID is a key and unique identifier of your form. All right. The next one is called the target. The target specifies where to display the response after submitting the form. It defines the browser context in which the response will be displayed. Will it be displayed in the same window, in an iframe? Yeah? Where will it be displayed? So for example, where will it be displayed? Will it be displayed in a different page? Will it open a different tab to display? For example, have you ever tried to submit some data and then it tells you, thank you, your data has been successfully submitted? Have you ever seen such? Yes,
Yes, sir.
that is
Yes.
actually.
I wanted to ask, where are we in this document? The one we are seeing now is textbook.
Oh, no, no, actually it's something different. I said I'm trying to explain something which is not in the document.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. It is like, for example, when you see the document has something like in the example we have input, we have type, text. So those are kinds of things which are I'm adding up, which I cannot see in the document. Like for example, here in the example, or we have also name. Name I was explaining. I thought it's not here, but I can see it here. So name, which is assigned to the name of the document. So size, of course, that is the size of the form. Then type of course it is text. Yeah. So these are the things which are, so for example here you can have ID is assigned to the string, and then you have that ID within the strings. Is that clear? All right.
Clear.
So we have something we call enctype. Enctype specifies how the data should be encoded when sending it to the server. So this is actually how the data should be encrypted. How the data should be, for example, the data should be encrypted in the JSON format. The JSON format will come to learn it when we get to the JavaScript. Don't worry. It's about the objects. We'll learn it more deeply about that one. So it tells us how the data should be encoded, how should be the data be accessed. Yeah. So that is what happens in such case. Yeah. So autocomplete. Autocomplete, when actually you place autocomplete, you either place it as on or off. That is why I tell you that form has many, and I think I will make a document of this one and send you because it's not part of the other one. I will make a document right away and send you. So autocomplete tells that the form that once you have received the first data, this person called Hamed has filled the first name as Hamed, the second name as Elmi. The next time he is coming to fill, you can suggest it to him. If he fills A, then you can suggest for him the name Hamed, because it is held somewhere so that it can have that autocomplete feature. I think you have ever tried somewhere to fill your Gmail and it fills it out. It suggests your Gmail.
Yeah, sure.
So,
I learned that one. I know. I know. It, whenever you wanted to enter the detail that you've already entered before, it gives you suggestions.
sure. So that is actually the autocomplete attribute. So we have something we call accept charset. Don't worry, I'll send the document which contains all this one. Accept charset specifies the character encoding for form data when it is submitted to the server. So this one defines character encoding that should be used. That is, for example, UTF-8. UTF-8, it's something which accepts. Did I tell you the metadata, and then meta charset is assigned to UTF-8, where I said that this one allows your website to also have the special symbols like emojis, like dollar signs, which is not part of the English language. Did I say something like that? Yes.
Yeah. Something
Yes,
was
sure,
that.
I
Yeah.
said something. So this one, of course, tells that the data defines the character encoding that should be used for form submission. That is, of course, it is UTF-8 that accepts even the symbols. Yeah, sure. That one is directly assigned to UTF-8. So non-validate disables the browser default form validation. So for example, when presented, it prevents the browser from checking form for errors. That is simply, you tell the browser, do not interfere with my form. However it is, let my form be like that. That is actually what we call non-validate. No validate. Then we have something we call the form action. Yeah, action with upload. Action with upload, it describes when dealing with file uploads, the action often will be server-side script that handles file. For example, you want, of course, to do some uploads of, you've ever seen where you have filled the form, but at some point it tells you you can upload this document. So this one, of course, tells actually the form, and even on the server side, that we can have an upload which will be embedded within this form. So those are the major. We also have something we call the type. Type, of course, you can say either it is text. Text, it means it is actually A up to send, or you can say you are working with numbers. Yeah, that can be, and that can be better, sure. Are we okay up to there? All right, let me now
Yeah, we are up.
let me now continue with this one. So so sometimes you will, I'm reading now what is here. Sometimes you will want to collect text from individuals that requires a larger box. So how do you do that one? So you insert a text area. That, of course, requires quite several intensive stuffs, and that is actually how you do, and probably you can even maximize the area of your text box. Now, for example, there are things which are used in okay, let me finish with these text areas. So for example, text areas, you can have form, method, and everything. So you know the break, it's actually it breaks and goes to a new line. So your comment, and then we have the text area, name, comments, rows 15, and then we have columns. Columns we have 75. That is actually making a table within a form, which is actually huge. So what it does, it creates text, are called comment in that, and with 15 rows and 75 columns. Why it forces a hand wrap where text in the text area and form result are wrapped. In simple, it is actually creating some, okay, this one is it's something you think about, and come with the type of form you want. The form depends on what you want it to be done, but normally forms do not become too huge, too tedious, such that the user, we are training something we call the user interface, something which is user friendly. So you do not design very huge forms where you want the user input or user data. You describe small forms and simple forms and straight and to the point. So in this case, my friends, is that we are saying that where probably you might require huge forms is where you know that these people must fill. For example, you are going to an organization where you are a government agency and they must fill something like that. And that is actually how we go about such cases. So I wanted, maybe after such explanations, I want to go to the checkboxes. Checkboxes, eh? So how do we get a checkbox? It's a good question. For example, you want a checkbox. For example, which gender are you? You either check you are a male or a female. Check is where you click on a checkbox and it ticks itself. Yeah, it ticks itself. So a form. I think I will make a very brief code. Allow me to make a very brief code and then send it to our WhatsApp. Then somebody will implement it for us, and then I will explain. That will be easy for me. Just give me like 3 minutes. I quickly compose it and then I send it, capturing all these details, because these examples might take some time while as we are not doing the right implementation. Let me just make it quickly and then I send you, please.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I've shared it on our WhatsApp. We can now implement it as we learn with it now. However, most of the part of it we have learned, but I will just repeat for more emphasis.
Sir, I haven't received it. Did you send
I
it?
haven't seen, not yet seen.
Which, how many similar use?
Oh, okay. It's now okay. Now it has
the,
now come.
the problem was MTN.
You are using MTN.
That is you. You see, even one of the great employee of MTN left because
Yeah, Gilbert has left now. He has issues with MTN. Yeah, yeah.
unfortunately.
Okay, let me try to run this one.
Okay.
Mr. Book, are you going to share?
Yes, Ahmed. What are you saying?
Are you going to share?
Yeah, sure. I'm going to share once I run it. I ran it already, so now is here. I have the advanced form example. I have the name with the text area with the text. I mean with the placeholder that says enter your name. I have also email with the placeholder saying enter your email. Can I share my screen now?
Please do.
Okay. Am I going to share? I think I will share the output, not the code.
Yeah, 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 sure.
Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Wow, we can see your screen.
Okay.
Nice one. Would you allow me now to explain the code as we look into it?
Yeah, sure, sure. You can continue.
All right. I'm trying to present something here. So when you have what we call the form data, and the metadata is part of what we have been discussing for quite some time. You will all agree with me. And the meta car set, which is assigned to UTF-8,
Yes, yes,
is
yes.
part of the
It's
form
okay.
methods. And the meta car
Hello,
set
sir.
says that the it can
Hello.
actually. Hello.
Yes, it's like you are continuing the the class, and we lost you for few minutes.
Wow. Nice.
You were away for a while.
You went away, and now you, with our surprise, you are continuing the discussion. Like,
No, this is funny. I didn't even notice.
eh,
And the way I was very energetic in the explanations.
I can see.
Sorry for that. Let me
We
start it.
lost you when you were about to start on the one I displayed. You haven't
Okay.
even.
Yeah.
Alright, let me just start it now from the top. Sorry for that. Alright, I was just saying that, of course, the first line we have the doc type HTML. Oh, this one is used to say that the document is an HTML5 document. The document is an HTML5 document. Then you can see the next line is HTML. Then we define the language as English. So language is assigned to English language. That says that the document will be done in English language. Then we have the header section. The header sections contains part of the content which is contained within the header sections is meta, information, title, and styles, but we do not currently have the styles. But we have the meta car set, which is assigned to UTF-8, which says that the document can accept special characters which are not English characters, because we have said that the language is English. So we might have special characters like $sign, like emojis, which are not English, but the document can accept them. Then we go and say that the meta name on the viewport where we will be viewing. Actually, if you run your website on the browser, you will see something called port 27,000. You'll see something we call port 27, port 27,000 actually. So this is the port that we are referring. Yeah, even in your presentation, sometimes it is 27,000, sometimes it is port 127. So this is the port which is assigned to the HTML. So this port, we are saying on this port, then the content is assigned to width of the device. That is the device width. It means that the content which is in this port, or the content which is in your document which will be displayed on the HTML page, should be relative to the size of the device. That is, for example, if you have a smartphone, it goes with the size of the smartphone. If you have a tablet, it goes with the size of the tablet proportionately, not behaving in a funny manner. And then we end by saying that the initial scale before zooming, this is the initial scale before zooming, should be 1.0. So we should zoom from 1.0 going upward, but the initial scale should be 1.0. Then we have the title and advanced form. We close the hand, then we start the body. The body, we have the H2. The H2 is the second most important header in the body. That is why it is said header 2. Header 2, header 1 where it is the most important, header 6 the least important, but header 2 now is the second most important in terms of clarity and size. So the title we are giving, or the header that we are giving, it is that this is an advanced form example. And then now we introduce our form tag, where we say that this form, the action, it is where the form will go to. Because we do not actually have where the form will go to, then we say that this is a submit form. This is a submit form, so the form will go to the submit form. Now the method is post. That means there is kind of an encryption. There is a kind of protection for this form. So in this entire example, we are trying to say that we are protecting this form because we have a method post, because we say that there are two, where we have get and where we have post. Get is for huge data which is in the public demand and anybody can view them, but for post is actually data which probably is encrypted and it is aligned and it should be accessed by one person. At some point he has to get some key identification so that he can access that data, that form data. End type of course says that this data should be in this format. That one we will come to know it very well when we get to the advanced levels. That is, the data can be in, for example, JSON format. It means how should the data be formatted. But about the formatting of the data, we will come to understand it more clearly. Then the ID which we send, it is the unique identifier. This is assigned to my form. I will, however, advise that ID should be assigned to both actually it can be symbols and characters and numbers, but it is more important to have even numbers as unique identifiers. The numbers are better in unique identification or a mix-up, but not the characters. Then we have the name. The name of this form is use form. Then we have turned the autocomplete to be on. That means if you type your name, the next time you are typing your name, then it must bring you a suggestion. It must bring you a suggestion. Now, look here, friends. Then we have what we call accept charset. Accept charset is now UTF-8. That is to say that it accepts special symbols, special characters. In this form, we can have some dollar signs. It can accept, it can accept in typing, but when you actually say you click the submit button, then it does not really recognize that one when it goes to the server side on the other side. But here, because we have specified that accept charset, then it will definitely accept for that case. Now, the next one is what we call by the way, you know how commenting is done in HTML. The commenting is done with actually line number 12, now line number 19. That is how commenting. Those actually comments are not run by the browser. Those are simple comments, and that is how comments are done. Now we want to define labels. Now the labels are, for example, the boxes where you insert your text or your numbers. Those are what we call the labels, the text boxes, the specific boxes where you want to insert special characters or everything that you have. Now, for this case, we have the labels. We have the labels. For example, we have the first label for name in line number 16, which of course the label, we said that for. Now I want to teach you this one. I hope you are in line 16, all of us. Are we in line 16?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so the label for name, the label, so that the label of course is what creates now that space, that space. So we say that the label for it's actually should be assigned to name. So what will be within that label, it is name. That is why it is label 4, it is assigned for name. So that is now the real thing now which will be contained there has been given as name, as you can all see, friends, as you can all see. Now actually from what Mr. Pork has presented to us, you can see that name, then we have its label there below. So the name, this name which is between the label tags, that is the name, then we have the full colon, that is what appears on the top of the label. Then we say break, and then we say that, for example, the input type, the type of the input should be text. Of course, the name cannot contain numbers. The ID is the unique identifier. This one they have said to be name. But where we will be building huge and complex databases, we will not use that name for ID. We will use a very unique identifier. But anyway, for now we can use that one. Then we have name. The name of that label is name. So the placeholder is what you can see bland, and it says enter your name. The placeholder is what you can see bland saying enter your name. Enter your name. So that one, it is saying to be required. Required follows there because you must fill it. If you doesn't fill it and you want to submit, it says go back and fill that. And actually it stretches that you have to. I know that sometimes you have tried to fill a form, and at some point it says that when you're trying to submit, go and fill some other places. That says that those places had not been filled up. So that is actually what we have, the labels. And and I think for the labels I can wash my hand. Or any questions before I go to the buttons and check boxes?
I think it's clear.
It's very
clear
clear
now.
Thank you.
Level is clear. Yeah.
Now the check boxes. So we have let me see the no. So for example, what actually what actually makes a thing a checkbox and another one a label, it is what we call it is actually the type. You know, it is just the type. The type really says that this is a checkbox. The other one says that this is a this is a name. So that you need to know that one. So for example, in line 23, we have radio buttons. So we have label for gender. So we have gender. So the input type is radio. So radio, what does the radio do? It has a radio. You have ever seen a button for radio? Yeah? The scrolling, I don't know, the twisting button for the radio, that one which you can rotate around. So that is what is actually placed here for the radio. So we have the gender, and then we have the radio button. So we have the type to be radio, so that one makes it to be round. And then we have the ID male, the name male, and the value male. That one does not affect any output, maybe later when we want to access this data. So we have the gender, then we have the input type should be a radio. So we have the label, the second label for male. Yeah, we have the label for male, as you can see. Then we have the radio assigned to male. Like for example, you can see the gender. The gender itself does not have a radio, but when you get to the other one, label for male, the label for male, then we have the male, then then of course we have the radio is defined. The radio is defined before the male. Then when we get to the male, so it is just a name. Then a radio for female is defined, and then we have the female. You see? So a radio is defined before actually defining what is actually accompanying that radio. Is that clear? All right. So we have the other one. We have a checkbox. What is a checkbox? A checkbox now is a round box. This is a round box. So a checkbox is a round box, not a round box, but a square box. Now a checkbox, what really defines this checkbox? It is actually the type. The type I said we have the radio and also we have the checkbox. So the checkbox is square. So now when you see this text box or this checkbox being defined in this case, we have for example, label for items, and then I accept the terms and conditions. You know this one, the checkbox has been defined after of course that label, so it will appear after. If it was before, it will appear before. So when you say the type is a checkbox, then of course it draws a square stuff, so that you can check that box. And you can replace a radio with a checkbox to see that, of course, for male and female, it will come in a square format. Then we have a label for file. Label for file. So when you say type is assigned to file, then of course that one says that this should be uploaded. Because we do not have somewhere where we can type that file. So when you say this label is for a file, then of course it must bring somewhere where you are told choose a file. It comes with that one. And once you have chosen a file, it changes its format and says that of course this file has been uploaded. So we have also the submit. I believe I also placed some submit button. The submit button. So the submit button is very simple. We have the input type, it is just submit. Then the value, it is submit. So that one does not really require a lot of naming. It is, once you have stated that the type it is submit, then it forms a submit button. But when we will be, or rather than gathering a lot of information, we will also say where submission, because of course that one can be stated in the button itself or within the form content. Then we have input type. So we have another button below the submit button, which is called the reset button. The reset button helps you to reset everything that of course you have filled. Helps you to reset that one. So once you click it, it resets everything, because we have said that the type is reset and then the value is reset. So for the submit, as two attributes, type and value. It is submit and submit. The other one, it is reset and reset. Is that clear, friends?